Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to ACS Sneakers. My name is Aiden. On today's video, we are taking a look at the Yeezy 350 V2 in the carbon colorway. But before we get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to my returning viewers. Thank you as always for supporting me and the channel. And to any new viewers, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, hitting that bell notification. We do release brand new content each and every week. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the intro. So this video is being brought to you in collaboration with my friends over at the VIP Vault, who have been so gracious to send me out one of their drop front boxes. Now, unfortunately, when I was making my own box, I somehow managed to scratch it, which is never ideal, but I am really grateful that they have been able to send me these out to debut for you guys on the channel. As you can see behind me, I absolutely love the drop front boxes, and I'm so happy to actually have these from the VIP Vault. I will leave a link to their shop and their Instagram page below, so make sure you guys do go ahead and check them out. Also, if you guys would like to see a review on the box in terms of, how I display them, how I make them, and how I'd like to use them in future videos, drop me a comment in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to bring that video to you guys. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, and it didn't really get the necessary traction to do a video on. But if anybody out there wants to see it, drop me a comment. I'd be more than happy to work on it. And once again, a huge shout out to VIP Vault for hooking me up with some of their drop front boxes. I'm massively grateful. So make sure you guys do go ahead and check them out. So in editing this video, I did actually notice I had a little bit of hair popping out the bottom of my cap, which my camera lady completely forgot to advise me on. Now, given the timing of when I noticed this and was editing this video, I didn't have enough time to go back and completely reshoot the entire video, so my camera lady could be getting fired in the morning. So make sure you guys are spamming me in the comment section below. Drop me a like on this video. Let's go ahead and get straight back into the video. Initially releasing on October 2nd for a retail price of £180, today we are taking a look at one of my most anticipated sneakers of 2020 so far. Now, this was actually my very first time winning a JDX raffle, and I've only ever heard horror stories about how their raffles are run, from shoes not arriving or arriving in terrible conditions. So from the moment that I managed to secure my pair, I was completely on edge waiting for my shoe to arrive. Fortunately, mine arrived double boxed and in pretty much immaculate condition, so I'm highly grateful for that, to be honest. So let's go ahead and take a look at the box. And here we go, guys. I now have the box in hand, and as you can see, we just get that usual bog standard Yeezy cardboard box with the 350 branding across the top and the Boost branding across the front. If we take a quick look at the label on the box, which reads Yeezy Boost 350 V2 in the carbon colorway. Now, the label is actually the most interesting feature on the entire box, as previously there was a different label underneath. Now, the reason for that is that this shoe had previously been known as the 350 Asrail, and I do believe that the name had to be changed on religious grounds, if I'm not mistaken. I wish that they would have taken a little bit more time and care to replace the label on my box, because it just looks a little bit sloppy in my opinion, and that's just a little bit of a disappointment for me. But I do think it's a pretty interesting story that they've had to completely change the name, and it looks like all the labels on all the shoe boxes had been printed prior to release. So I think it's just a nice, interesting story for this shoe. So now let's go ahead and get straight into the rest of my review. And here we go, guys. I now have the shoe in hand, so getting straight into the shoe, starting out with the prime the upper. Here we have a black base layer with cream accents towards the front and back, with the steel blue and grey accents throughout the centre. Now, these colours do combine to create a very nice crosshatch stitching right the way throughout the upper on the lateral side. However, on the medial side, the stitching, I would say, is a lot less evident and extreme than what we saw on the lateral side. However, the colours are still very evident, so we have the steel blue, black and grey. However, cream is reserved to the heel and the lateral portion of the shoe. Now, if we take a look again at the lateral side of the shoe, here we have a monofilament mesh black stripe that runs right the way through the lateral portion of the shoe and ends where the usual heel tab would normally be. Now, although this is still see-through in some scenarios, it's not as see-through as some of the more earth tone based Yeezys that we've had earlier on in the year. So if you are wanting to show off your socks, it's probably not going to be that easy with this colorway. However, if you're not really too fussed, it's not going to be really evident regardless, because as I say, with it being a fully black stripe, it's only going to be very specific lighting that's going to really accentuate whatever socks you are wearing. Now, in terms of the overall quality of the mesh, I would say that it's of a very good quality. It's very flexible and breathable and pretty consistent with other 350 V2 models. So if you've ever owned a 350 before, you should pretty much know what to expect when it does come to the mesh on this shoe. Now for me, I really do feel that this colourway is releasing at the right time of year. It's such a nice and subtle colourway that you can wear right the way throughout autumn as well as winter, and I think it's going to work well with most outfits. To be completely honest, I don't think it's going to require the same levels of upkeep as some of the more earth tone Yeezy releases that we saw earlier on within the year. And now moving down the shoe, here we have a semi-translucent cream midsole with the usual ribbon that can be seen on all other 350 V2 models. For me, this adds a very nice contrast to the shoe, as we have the darker tones on the upper and the lighter tones on the midsole, which for me adds a very nice and balanced look to this shoe. If we take a look at the outsole on the shoe, we have Adidas' Ultra Boost Tech, housed and lined within the cream rubber outsole. I've said this on multiple occasions that the V2 is the most comfortable sneaker that I've ever owned or ever had in my collection. I'm still yet to find any sneaker that offers the same level of comfort as this one does. But what I would say is that Jordan's full-length Zoom is a very close second, but I still feel that this is a little bit more comfortable personally. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. Let's get back into it. And now taking a look at the laces on the shoe, here we have the infinity laces in black. Now if you are new to the channel, I've already had my say on why I don't like the infinity laces, and I will leave a link above if you do want to check out my review as well as my views on the infinity lacing system with Yeezy. Now, to be completely honest, the more I am seeing new Yeezy releases that do feature the infinity laces, the less I'm hating it and the more I'm becoming acclimatized to the idea. And I think on this particular colourway, it actually looks quite good in my opinion. I think it adds a nice streamlined look to the shoe. But if you really don't like the infinity laces, Adidas have kindly provided us with a set of black rope laces to replace the infinity laces with. But to actually insert the rope laces, you need to completely destroy the laces on this shoe, effectively destroying any resale value in the future, which of course is a massive disappointment and something you should highly consider before swapping the laces out. I think it's too much hassle to actually replace the laces, and I think the infinity laces on this particular colourway does look quite good, and it's just something we're all just going to have to get used to with the next few Yeezy releases, all going to feature the new infinity lacing system. Now the laces do sit atop a multicoloured stitching that runs right the way through the centre of the shoe, and can also be seen on the heel portion of the shoe as well. Now you've probably noticed that the heel tab is missing from this colourway, and I personally would really like to know how they do decide which shoe will and won't feature the heel tab. For me, they are very necessary, and it does, actually have a purpose. It's easier to get the shoe on and off, and I think when it is missing, the heel of the shoe looks quite flat, and it's pretty evident that it should be there with the black meshing around the heel. So in that respect, it is a little bit of a disappointment, and I really wish Yeezy would convey which shoes will and won't feature the heel tab, so at least that way I can decide which shoe I will and won't be picking up. I think it's a very necessary feature for this shoe. And now taking a look at the sock liner of the shoe, we have a primarily black sock liner with charcoal grey around the ankle collar. Towards the heel portion, we have the 3M Adidas 3-stripe branding. And to be completely honest, there's a very good amount of padding and support around the ankle collar and the heel counter, which I do think is extremely comfortable on feet. And now taking a look at the insole on the shoe, we have a primarily black insole with the Yeezy and Adidas branding featured in steel blue. Now that just about wraps up the overview of the shoe itself, so now let's go ahead and get into my opinions on the shoe. And now moving over to the most important aspect of any sneaker, and that will be the sneaker's comfortability. As I've covered throughout the video, for me the V2 is the most comfortable sneaker in my collection, and it doesn't require any breaking in time. In terms of durability, I've always found the V2 to be extremely durable, and to be honest, this is definitely a colourway that I can rock right the way throughout autumn and winter. In terms of sizing, this is always up for debate with a lot of people, but to be completely honest, I always go true to size and get a UK size 9. I always feel that that is the best fit on me. I have tried going a half size up and going a half size down, but I've always found that going true to size has always been best for me. If you do have any chance to try out a model before buying, I would highly recommend you do so, just so you can understand the best fit for you. And in terms of my overall opinion on the shoe itself, I do give the Yeezy 350 V2 in the carbon colourway a 9 out of 10. For me, this is my second favourite colourway of the year behind the Zion, and I do think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic shoe to own throughout autumn and winter. I'd love to know what you guys think as well, so please go ahead and drop me a comment in the comment section below, and let's go ahead and take a look at the shoe in more detail. Now, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who stuck around to this point in the video. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, hitting that bell notification, and I hope to see you again in the next one.